Now, as of today, I have a whole new level of respect for Daisy Ridley, the actress who plays Rey. Though mind you, I've never really had anything against her. Just because I'm not a huge fan of the character doesn't mean I have to dislike the actress who plays her or hold a grudge against her. At the end of the day, she's just a woman playing a role in a movie that someone else has written. She's just someone doing her job. And though we can certainly critique her acting skills in the films if we want to, and I think it's fair to, we certainly can't blame her for the way the writers and directors have written or want her to portray the character. That said then, the reason why I do have a new level of respect for her is the answer she gave to this question in a USA Today article, which goes as follows. Writer-director Rian Johnson received a ton of backlash online after The Last Jedi, with many fans petitioning to remake the film to redeem Luke Skywalker's character. Were you surprised at all by the controversy? And Daisy Ridley responded, I wasn't surprised. No, it's just a different thing. Everyone's going to have an opinion now anyway on the internet, but I also think it's fair. If people hold something incredibly dear and think they know how it should be, and it's not like that, it's fair for people to think they were done wrong. It doesn't mean they were. Ultimately, Ryan's a filmmaker and one person can't dictate how a film is supposed to be, but freedom of expression, sure. And wow, in my opinion, this is pretty much a perfect answer, and one someone in an official capacity with Lucasfilm, like a Kathleen Kennedy, should have given about a year and a half ago when this all started. And maybe if she had, things might be different right now within the fan base. Because basically what Daisy Ridley is saying here is that if you didn't like The Last Jedi, that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion, good or bad. And if you're a huge fan of the franchise that expected Episode 8 to be something different than the subversion of expectations that it ultimately was, that's okay too. You can be disappointed that it went in a totally different direction than what I think most of us fans expected it to go in after what The Force Awakens had set up. Furthermore, it's so great to hear the woman who actually plays the character of Rey not say that one of the reasons people didn't like the film was because it had a female lead character. That reason for all the hate is so utterly ridiculous and off base that it's funny, because coming from someone who's made quite a few videos criticizing The Last Jedi and the character of Rey, again, the character, not the actress, someone who has read, thousands upon thousands of comments from fellow fans on the matter, I can't think of one single time I read a comment from someone saying that they didn't like Rey just because she's a woman. Not one time, unless they were being clearly sarcastic about it. And yet, those were the two narratives so many wanted to push in regards to the hate for The Last Jedi. That you didn't like it because it didn't go exactly how you wanted it to go, and thus you're a man baby for having an opinion on the story. Or you didn't like it because strong women intimidate you or something, and you don't like it when they're given roles of prominence, even though Leia, Padme, Ahsoka, and so on were all fan favorites long before Rey. And all in one fell swoop, Daisy Ridley, again, Rey herself, debunks all that nonsense, and in the process makes me really hope that Episode 9 is good, and that it will do her character right. Because from the very start, or going into this new trilogy, I really wanted to love the character of Rey, just like 99.999% of other Star Wars fans did. However, I'm not sure I've been given a real reason to like or truly root for the character in the films thus far. As I've said many times before, she just feels like she's been there or along for the ride, and Kylo Ren himself says she has no place in the story, and I really think he nailed it with that line. And so I really hope Episode 9 begins to change that. I hope it makes Rey feel like a bigger part of the overall story. And speaking of that, going back to the same interview with Daisy Ridley, she told us that by the end of 9, the question about her parents will be answered. And I'm guessing she means in some sort of final, definitive way that will close any and all other possibilities, even though that door really should have been closed in Episode 9, and in Rian Johnson's mind it probably was closed, but I'm not sure J.J. Abrams liked where the story went with her. And along these same lines, Daisy Ridley also said Episode 9 will have a different feel to it when compared to 7 and 8, that it will be very emotional and have a different drive to it. She ultimately likened it to a kids going on adventure movie, which I don't know if that gets me more or less excited, to be very honest with you. Because as I speculated in a video not long ago, I don't think this movie is going to be the deep dive into the lore that many people are kind of hoping it will be. Yes, J.J. Abrams has said this will tie all three trilogies together, but he's also said it has to stand on its own and be its own film. And with Daisy's comments about this being like kids on an adventure, I see this being a very simple, straightforward narrative that revolves entirely around stopping Palpatine once and for all, and for better or worse, the circumstances around his return won't be heavily explored or laid out. Either way, to be completely candid with you all here, I just hope a majority of people or the fans enjoy The Rise of Skywalker. I really do. Though I don't think it can or will heal all the wounds in the fan base, even if it's absolutely fantastic. Because you can't go back in time and change the way Disney and Lucasfilm handled or didn't handle the backlash to The Last Jedi. You can't go back and make the words that were recently spoken by Daisy Ridley come out of Kathleen Kennedy's mouth a year and a half ago. And I also don't know that, again, even if it's fantastic, that it will make The Last Jedi a better film or less of a source of conflict within the fanbase. Nor do I think it should even try to at this point. The best thing that I think J.J. Abrams can do is just ignore that movie as much as he can, because he's not going to be able to change the minds of those who didn't like it. That's just never going to happen, I feel. So all you may end up doing is angering the fans who did like the movie by changing or subtly retconning things from it, which is one of the reasons I don't think Rey's parents will be radically changed. At most, we'll learn who they were and why they left her, that they'll still be relative nobodies, but they didn't sell her off for drinking money. That part was a lie by Kylo Ren, but the rest of it was probably close to the mark. In closing here, I again love what Daisy Ridley had to say. It's just a shame it's being said now and wasn't said a year and a half ago by someone like Kathleen Kennedy. Because the way the fans who didn't like The Last Jedi were treated by the media and by some associates of Lucasfilm for simply not liking a movie and expressing their opinion was absolutely shameful. And no, I'm certainly not saying all the haters of The Last Jedi are saints that didn't cross any lines themselves, but I think most of us, or at least myself, and I'm the only one I can truly speak for here, just wanted some sort of acknowledgement. We wanted someone in an official capacity at Lucasfilm to say, yes, we get it. You didn't like the movie, and that's fine. The story was a departure from what you expected, but we thought it'd make for the best story. We know you're not horrible people, you're just disappointed fans, and you have a right to feel that way. And I find it ironic, or maybe fitting, that the one who, in a sense, is indirectly calling for a ceasefire within the fanbase, that we should just accept that we all have different opinions, is the woman who plays the character who has been one of the main issues or points of contention at the very center of this fighting all along. Well, that's all I've got for you this time. Now it's your turn to tell me what you think about Daisy's comments. Do they mean anything to you or not? Is this much too little, much too late from someone who is on their way out of the franchise and has no bearing on its future? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.